Okay, I want to take a second to address Rob Skiba's cloud underlighting video. This is actually going to be part one of two parts. My second part here will be analyzing the use of a Fresnel lens for this demonstration. The fact of the matter is that Skiba here is hoping that his viewers are not intelligent enough to realize the difference between water vapor in the air and a big-ass lens. In fact, he's counting on that. Originally, when I watched the underlighting video, I found two very specific problems. Both of these I outlined in a comment in his video. The comment, to my surprise, actually stayed up for about a day. However, then it was later muted. Go figure. Now, most know exactly how much I love when people mute my comments, especially when the majority of my comments are rational assessments of the subject presented. But since there are those who wish to dictate what they consider to be truth while hiding facts, well, enter my distaste for people who provide disinformation. Now, Skiba claims to be a skeptic while deliberately blocking avenues of information which rationally provide actual answers to the scenarios that he poses, which ventures outside of the realm of skepticism and turns into dictating. And it also moves away from challenging people to think to telling them what to think. I'm going to create a term which I'm going to use to describe the observations of Skibas and honestly most of the experiments on this subject in both parts of this video. That term is monocentric observation. Now I'm sure there's probably already a word that exists for this, but because I'm not going to go plowing through various levels of scientific vocabulary, this one just sounded like it works just fine. An observation in nature or experiment which one can arrive at a logical conclusion. Yet, when the position of the observer is moved, under the same conditions, the previous observation and thereby conclusion is no longer valid. Meaning that if you're standing in one place and you observe something, you can draw a conclusion from that. However, if you move, that previous conclusion is no longer valid because you have obviously been able to see that your first conclusion was incorrect. Sound fair? So, here's Skiba's demonstration. This is his sun, this is his setup, this is his magnifying lens, this is his cloud, and his mobile phone as the observation point. Here are the things that I outlined in my comment when I first saw the video. As interesting as your overhead projector lens is, turns out I was wrong on that, but I was only wrong in where he got it from. They're both the same type of lens. I wish to point out two very distinct errors in your conclusions. First, scale. Your sun is only about 60% higher above the ground level as your clouds, which implies that either the sun is about 12 miles above the Earth's surface, which does not comply with any FE model, or the clouds are about 1,000 miles above their surface, which does not comply with observable reality. The second part, direction. From the 2-minute 20 mark, when you start to move the sunlight away, as would be expected in the majority of flat Earth models, the light begins to illuminate the underside of your cloud from the distant end first. Distant end meaning the portion of the cloud most distant from the observer, followed by the illuminated portion moving towards the observer as the sun moves further. However, in observed reality, the underside of the clouds directly above the observer are illuminated first. This illumination then creeps towards the already set sun, which is the opposite of your display. So your conclusion of it worked is limited to only getting a lens to do what it was designed to do, and the underside of your cloud was illuminated, yet not the way we see it in reality. Now, of course, that information was enough to discount this entire test. Now, since that comment, I found several other issues. First, this type of lens produces a streak, which is present in all variations, but yet is not viewed in reality. Second, the camera position. In his examples of the sun setting and his underlighting was recorded from the position far below center, as seen by these reflections. With this lens, if he were above the center of the lens, then his sun and whatever other stand-ins he would like to use would move upwards and not down. That makes his video a monocentric observation. He would not get the same results from all angles. The lens effect of water vapor in the atmosphere would not have such a focal point as this lens does. Rather, it consists of countless round water droplets in the air, none of which will you ever view through in any other direction but centered. So basically, Skiba has deliberately deceived you by using a directional magnifying lens which is not physically present in reality, but yet relying on the fact that science says water acts like a lens being the same thing. He is hoping that his subscribers do not realize the difference between the two, just because of the word lens. Like I said, I'll be doing a second video on this once my Fresnel lens arrives, also from Amazon. Oh, and by the way, I would just like to throw my hat in and say I also do not believe that this test was the result of anything reflecting off of the table. Just like the attempted claims of numerous flat earthers who say that the underlighting of clouds is the result of any reflection, water, snow, land, or otherwise, causing this effect. So, until part 2, y'all have a nice day.
Oh my God.